See, in Selenium comprises of three components: Selenium ID, RC, and WebDriver. ID and RC has been outdated long back. We are going to learn completely about Selenium WebDriver only. Okay, let us start learning about automation using Selenium WebDriver. Okay. Okay. Imagine that I have a website called abc.com. In this abc.com, I have username text box, I have password box, and I have a login button. I have a login button so that I can log in into the application. Okay. If I want to log in into this application, first I need to open the browser, open the URL called abc.com, enter the username in the username text box, enter the password in the password box, then I need to click on login button. After entering the username and password, uh, after entering the username and password, if I want to log in into this application, I need to click on login. See, after opening the browser and URL, if I want to enter the username in the username text box, first identify this username text box and perform some typing operation. Identify this password box and perform some typing operation. Identify this login button and perform some click operation. To do any sort of automation, we will do only two steps. One is identifying the element, and second one is performing action on that element. Identify the element and perform action. Identify the element and perform action. These are the only two steps what we will be doing to do any sort of automation. To do any sort of automation, we will do only two steps. One is identifying the element. Second one is performing action on it. Identifying the element and 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 perform. These are the only two steps what we will be doing to do any sort of automation. Identifying the element and performing action on it. For example, I have a checkbox here. If I want to click on the checkbox, identify the element and perform action on it. If I have a radio button, identify this element and perform action on it. If I have a link called forget your password link, identify this element and perform action. These are the only two steps what we will be doing to do any sort of automation. Okay. To identify the elements, we don't want to have any Java knowledge. Only to perform action only we need to have Java knowledge. To identify the elements, if we have the basic knowledge on HTML, that's enough. Only to perform action only we need to have the basic knowledge of Java. In that case, what we are going to do, first learn the basics of HTML, then identify the element. Then learn the basics of Java and start performing action. That's the procedure how we have to learn. First learn the basics of HTML, identify the element. Learn the basics of Java and start. But most of the people, what they do, without knowing all these things, directly they will start installing Selenium in the day one itself. That's not the right way to learn. Okay. That's why what I am going to do, I am going to teach you the basics of HTML now. If you want to learn the basics of HTML, if you start developing a small web page, then you will come to know the basics of HTML. Then you might ask a question, sir, in real time, are we going to develop the web pages in real time? No, we are not going to develop the web pages in real time. Developers only will develop. Just for knowledge purpose, we are going to learn. For sure, we are not going to develop the web pages in real time. Only developers only will develop it. Okay, just for knowledge purpose. See, most of the automation engineers, those who are working right now currently in the industry also, They may think that we are not developers, right? We are not developers, right? Why we have to learn the basics of HTML? If you have that mindset, right, throughout your career you will be keep on struggling how to identify the element. Throughout your career you will be keep on struggling how to identify the elements. That's why to come out of that we are going to learn the basics of HTML by developing a small web page. For sure, whatever the topic I am going to it doesn't take much time, guys. Hardly it will take 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Today and tomorrow we will be learning the basics of HTML by developing a small web page. For sure, whatever the topics I am going to teach you today and tomorrow, we are not going to do that in real time. But we should have the knowledge of that also. Think that only for today and tomorrow, we are going to be as a developers and we are going to start developing the web page. Then again from the next day onwards, we will be starting our testing activities, automation testing. Okay. Even though if it's not that important, I mean, we are not going to do that in real time. This topic is must and necessary for an automation engineer. Okay, think that we are a developers and we are going to start developing the web page. Before any developer develops a web page, before any developer develops a web page, he will be getting the requirements from the client. He will be getting the requirements from the client. Based on the client requirements, anyone will start developing the web page. Based on the client requirements, anyone will start developing the web page. Imagine that my client has said me to develop a web page like this. Imagine that my okay, imagine that my client has said me to develop. Before any developer develops a web page, he will be getting the requirements from the client. Client will give you the requirements in a notebook, and I mean you will be noting down like this. This is the web page. What I am going to develop. Okay, the title of the page should be "Welcome to Selenium." To Selenium. I am going to have a username text box. Text box. I am going to have a password box. I am going to have a login button. I am going to have a checkboxes, reports. I am going to have a radio button, male radio button and female radio button. I am going to have a link called Google link. I am going to have a image. I am going to have a checkbox image. Single select drop down. Multi select drop down. Text area. File choosing button, that is browse button. This is called a text box. Password box. Button. Checkbox. Radio button. Button. Link. Image. This is image with link. What is the difference between image and image with link? Image with link. When I mouse over on this image, it will be as a normal cursor. If I mouse over on this image with link, it will change to a hand symbol, and when I click on this, it will redirect to some other page. That's the difference between image and image with link. This is single select drop down, multi select drop down, drop down. This is called text area, file choosing button, choosing button, file choosing button. These are the different elements what we find in our web page. Okay, these are the different. There are many more elements also. We are not going to concentrate on all the elements. How these basic elements are built, if you know that, that's more than sufficient. Because we are not developers, we are not developers to learn the complete. We are not going to concentrate on design, color, font, and all those things also. Just how these basic elements are built, if you know that, that's enough. Okay, first take down this, then you can take down the requirements page, and I will start developing this HTML page. Make a quick note of this. Make it quick. Have you completed this? Okay. Take down this, including the element names also. I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes. Make it quick. Okay, hope you guys have completed, right? Sorry for the delay, guys. Have you completed? Can we quickly reconnect the meeting once? Yes. Yes, everyone, Kavya, everyone, please reconnect the meeting. See. Okay, I'm going to start developing this HTML page. I'm going to start developing this HTML page. Any HTML page will be developed. Any HTML page will be developed by using a technology called HTML. By using a technology called HTML. Writing the HTML code, you can write it anywhere. You can write it in WordPad, you can write it in Notepad, you can write it in Edit Plus, Notepad Plus Plus, whichever the editor you want, you can write it. But while you are saving that file, you have to save with .html extension. But while you are saving that file, you have to save with .html extension. That is what. What I am going to do here, I am going to use a plain notepad. I am going to use a plain notepad and I am going to start developing this HTML page. I am going to use a plain notepad and I am going to start developing this HTML page. Sweta, already I am recording. I will not allow you to record. Why are you requesting to record? Any HTML page will start with HTML tag and it will end with HTML tag. It has two child tags called head tag, which is opened here and which is closed here. Body tag, which is opened here, and body, which is closed. Yes. Any HTML tag will have two child tags called head tag, which is opened here. HTML, which is opened here and closed. Closing is nothing but slash. Body tag, which is opened here and closed here. Body tag. All my elements, whatever I create, all the elements, whatever I create, like text box, password box, all these elements will be under the body tag. Apart from body tag, if you have some other tags, that will be under the head tag. That will be under the head tag. Apart from body tag, if you have some other tag, that will be under the head tag. Yes. That is how any HTML page is built. Any HTML page will start with HTML tag and it will end with HTML. It has two child tags called head tag and body tag. Basically, the HTML page is divided into two sections, head section and body section. Same way how our human structure is also divided into two parts, head section and body section. The same way the HTML page is also divided into two sections, head section and body section. Head section and body section. This is how the HTML pages are divided. Take down heading as basic structure of HTML and take down this. Then I will explain you how to save this and how to see the output of this and all those. See, I will start from the scratch from very beginning onwards here, guys. Okay, don't tell that at the end of the class or course, I am from non-IT background, sir. That's why I didn't understand. I will not understand. If you mentally fix that, you cannot understand, right? I cannot do anything for that. Okay, come out of that. There is nothing to do with this. Open the notepad and writing these things. To do these things, you don't require any IT background. Few students, what they will do, they will mentally fix that they are from non-IT background, we cannot learn it. And telling that, sir, whatever you are teaching, I am not understand. I am not able to understand. Come out of that and start. Okay, now how to save this and how to see the output of this, that is what we are going to see. Go to file, save. Where I am going to save it? I am going to save it under D drive, under classes, under batch 305. I am going to create a folder, name this folder as practice. Under this practice folder, I am going to save this as sample.html. Sample.html. I can give any file name. I can give sai.html or else I can give kavya.html. Any file name. .html is mandatory. Okay. I can give kunal.html. Any name I can give. .html is mandatory. I have saved this. Where I have saved under D drive, under classes, under batch 305, under this practice folder, I have saved this as sample.html. I have saved this as sample.html. Right. If you want to see the source code of, see, this is the code what I have written, right? Let me. If you want to see the source code of this file, if you save with .html, automatically you will get the file extension like this. Okay. Now, if you want to see the source code of this, right click, open with notepad, you will be able to see the source code. This is the source code what you have written. If you want to see the output of this file, right click, open with whichever the browser you like. I am going to go with Chrome browser. Yes, this is the output. Output is nothing. I have not written any code. That's why this is showing an empty page. That's why this is showing an empty page. Empty page. If I want to see the source code, right click, open with notepad, you will be able to see the source code. Right click, open with browser, you will be able to see this. Going output. Going further, what I am going to do, I am going to write the code in the notepad. I will press Ctrl S. Each and every time I don't want to do right click and open with the browser. Already I have opened this site. If I just click on refresh, I will be getting the updated output. Write the code in the notepad, press Ctrl S, come back here and refresh. This is how you have to set the platform to develop the HTML page. This is how you have to set the platform to develop the HTML page. Few developers, what they do, they'll keep this notepad in the left hand side. Write the code, press Ctrl S, come back here and refresh. However they want, they can do it. That's not a problem. This is how you have to set the platform. Everyone, have you understood how to start writing the code? How to save this and how to see the output and all those things? Only one girl is answering. What about others? Yes. If anyone have doubts, stop then and there itself and ask me. Okay. Now let's start developing this HTML page. First, let me take the first one. The first requirement of my HTML page is the title of the page should be Welcome to Selenium. The title of the page should be Welcome to Selenium. Title should be under the head tag. Title should be under the head tag. Title should be under the head tag, that is title. Welcome to Selenium. Title. Okay, now I am going to save this, or else press Ctrl S also, it will save. Okay, normally if you want to see the output, what we will do, we have to do right click and open with the browser to see the output, but already I have opened that, right? Now if I click on refresh, the title will get changed. Earlier, since there is no title, it is showing the file name as a title, but if I click on refresh, I will be getting the title of the page. If I click on refresh, I will be getting the title of the page. If I click on refresh, I will be getting the title of the page as Welcome to Selenium. I will be getting the title of the page. Who's that who has unmuted? Kiran Sai, please mute the microphone. Okay, now the first element is I need to create a text box. I need to create a text box and I need the label for this text box as username. First, I need to create a text box. Let me start. That should be under the body tag. Input type equal to text so that I will be able to create a text box. If I refresh this, I have got a text box. Yes, I have got a text box. Input type equal to checkbox so that I will be able to create a checkbox. Input type equal to radio is the radio button. See, you don't want to remember any source code, guys. Whenever we want the source code of any element, we will do right click and inspect. We will be able to see the source code. What you have to understand, this input tag is a child tag of body tag. This body tag is a child tag of HTML tag. If you understand this parent-child relationship, that's enough. You don't see, whenever we want the source code of any website, for example, for Facebook also, if you want the source code, what we can do right click and inspect. We will be able to see the source code here. We don't want to remember all these things. This input tag is a child tag of div tag. This div tag is a child tag of div tag. If you understand this, that's more than sufficient, because we are not developers to remember all the things. Input type equal to text. It will create a text. Okay. If you give some spelling mistakes, like instead of radio, I have given radio. Spelling mistake is there. RA. Instead of that, I have given RE. Still it will create a text box only. It will not create a text box. Why? Because if you are not giving anything also, it will create a text box, because by default the type attribute value is text. By default the type attribute value is text. This is a text box. This is the text box. Type equal to text so that I will be able to create a text box. Input type equal to text. This is how to create a text box. This is how to create a text box. Okay. Now, as per my requirements, I need the label for this text box as username. If you want a label, so that what I am going to do, username text box. This is how I got a username text box. This is how I got a username text box. Got a username text box. Yes. Normally, when you see a government form, username, first name, last name, first name, last name, like this will be it. First name, last name, This is how you will, first name, last name, this is how you will be getting. Yes, all the text boxes will have the same code: input type equal to text, input type equal to text, input type equal to text, like this. The code whatever I have selected here, the code whatever I have selected here, does it refers to the first name or last name, guys? Does it refers to the first name or last name? No answers. It refers to the first name. Yes, first name. Since there are only three elements, easily you are able to tell whether that refers to the first name or last name or something. But imagine that if there are huge set of elements, just imagine that if there are hundreds of elements, in between if I have selected 41st element or 42nd element, like that, will you be able to tell whether that refers to the previous one or next one? No, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult. Okay, that's why what normally developers will do, they will give a unique ID equal to u name, ID equal to f name, ID equal to l name, like that. Without IDs also we will be able to create it. You can create the text box, but for future reference purpose, if there are too many elements, to have some variation between each and every element, we will be giving that ID. Don't ask me again, sir, why you have given ID. Just for, if you feel that it's you feel difficult to give that ID, leave it. You can just give input type equal to text also, it will create a text box. Good developers will give good IDs, unique IDs. Bad developers won't give IDs. That's you. If you are a good developer, you have to give it. This is how to create a text box. Hope everyone have understood this, right, up to here. Yes. Next, the next element is I need to create a password box. I need to create a password box. Let me copy the same code. Password. Password. Username text box and password box. Username text box and password box. This is how to create a username text box and password box. Okay. See, can I have the password box which shows the characters like this? Can I have the password box which shows the characters like this, guys? No. It should be in stars, dots. That should be in encrypted. That's why input type equal to password, so that it will create a password box. Password box is different from text box. It looks similar. UI looks similar, but inside that the functionality will vary. That's why input type equal to password, so that I am able to create a password box. Next, the next element is I need to create a button, and I need the button name as login. Input type equal to button, so that I will be able to create a button. Yes, or else I can give input type equal to submit also, so that I will be able to create a button name as submit, so that I will be able to create a button name as submit. Input type equal to button, input type equal to submit. Oh, sorry. Now I am going to give an empty button. Now if I give input type equal to button, I am getting an empty button, but I need the button name as login, not before the button or after the button. I need on the button. I don't want before the button or after the button. I need on the button. Value equal to whatever I give, that it will be displayed. Pratap. Input type equal to button RL. Whatever the text I give in the value, that it will be displayed there on the button. Yes. Yes. It is better to give some IDs always. ID equal to login button. ID equal to login button. ID equal to login button. Next, ID equal to login button. Next, I need to create a checkbox. I need to create a checkbox. Input type equal to checkbox. ID equal to REP. Reports check. Yes, REP. Checkbox. Reports checkbox. Checkbox. It's better. I want the label as the reports, not before the checkbox. I need after the checkbox. That's why what I am going to do, I am going to write after the checkbox. Yes, I have created the checkbox. Yes, done. The next element. This is how to create username, text box, password. Everyone, have you understood up to here? Yes. Next, I need to create a radio button. I need to create a radio button. Input type equal to radio, so that I will be able to create a radio button. Yes, I have got a radio button, but I don't want the radio button here. I want the radio button in the next line. As per my requirements, I need the radio button in the next line. If you want the radio button in the next line, I can go with BR tags, breaking reference. Break the reference and bring it to the next line. Break the reference and bring it to the next line. Yes, got it. How to create a radio? But normally developers won't use any BR tags. What happens if they use BR tags? Alignment over the cross browser, it will get mismatch. In this browser that will look good. In other browsers it won't look good. Some other browsers it won't look good. In other browsers it won't look good. That's why what we are going to do, what normally developers will do here is they will create a table. They'll create a table and start putting all the radio buttons in one table. They'll create a table and start putting all the Google links in one table. They'll create a table and start putting all the images in one table. They'll create a table and start putting all the select drop downs in one table. They'll create a table and start putting all the other elements in one table. They'll create different tables and start putting elements in different. They'll start creating elements in different. If they create a new table, automatically it will fall in a new line. See, this male and female radio button should be in one table with one row and two columns. This Google link should be in one table with one row and one column. This image and image with link should be in one table with one row and with two rows and one column in each row. This select drop down should be in one table with one row and two columns. Same here also. How to create the elements in different tables and start creating the elements in different tables, that we are going to see in tomorrow's session. Okay. Today we just started creating the HTML pages and started with the first 4 elements. The remaining elements we will see in tomorrow's session, and we'll complete that in tomorrow's session. Okay. As of now, your homework for today is to develop the HTML page up to here. Okay. If you are able to create the HTML page up to here, then we will come to know how to develop the remaining elements in tomorrow's session. Okay. Make a quick note of this. Take down this quickly.